Most delivery drivers have one address they never forget. For me, it was a house hidden deep in the woods outside Portland. At first, it seemed harmless. An old woman ordered a pizza every Saturday night. She never opened the door, never showed her face, and somehow there was always a large cash tip waiting outside before I arrived. But after a few weeks, I started noticing things that didn't make sense. The house looked abandoned. The same upstairs window was always lit, and the woman behind the intercom seemed to know things about me she shouldn't have known. The more I delivered there, the more obsessed I became with finding out who was actually living inside that house. So one night, after making the delivery, I stayed behind. I wanted answers. What I saw that night is the reason I quit that job. And even now, years later, I'm still not completely sure there was ever a person living there at all. You're listening to Oculus Owl. Don't be alone. The owl is watching. Back when this happened, I was working late-night deliveries for Domino's Pizza in Portland. Most nights were the same. Drunk college kids, apartment buildings with broken buzzers, cold fries, bad tips, and long empty roads that all started looking the same after midnight. I usually worked the Saturday night shifts because nobody else wanted them. The money was slightly better, and honestly, I needed it. At the time, I was behind on rent, barely sleeping, and surviving almost entirely on caffeine and gas station food. So when strange orders came through, I usually didn't ask questions. The first time I got the address, I almost declined it immediately. Not because of the customer, because of the distance. The delivery location was way outside the city limits, deep past the quieter neighborhoods, past the last gas station, past the areas where streetlights still existed. I remember staring at the route on my phone thinking, who the hell even lives out there? It had been raining that night. Not heavy rain, just that constant cold drizzle that makes everything feel empty. I rode through long forest roads for almost 20 minutes without passing another car. No houses, no stores, nothing. Just wet pavement and trees on both sides of the road. Then eventually, I saw the house. It sat at the very end of a narrow gravel road hidden between tall dead trees. 2 stories, old, dark, overgrown yard, a rusted mailbox leaning sideways near the entrance. The only light visible was a dim yellow glow coming from an upstairs window. The rest of the house looked completely dead. I remember slowing my bike down and thinking maybe the GPS had made a mistake, because the place honestly looked abandoned, but the app still showed the order active. So I grabbed the pizza bag and walked to the front porch. The wood beneath my shoes felt damp and soft, like nobody had repaired the place in years. I knocked once, nothing. Then I noticed the intercom beside the door. Old, yellowed plastic, small speaker covered in dust. A few seconds later, static crackled through it. Then a woman's voice told me to leave the food outside. That was it. No greeting, no thank you. Just calm, quiet, almost emotionless. I don't know why. But something about her voice immediately made me uncomfortable. Not because it sounded scary, because it sounded too calm. Like she already knew exactly what she was going to say before I even arrived. Then I noticed the money, folded neatly beside the door. Cash tip, way bigger than normal. I remember counting it twice because I thought I saw it wrong. And while I was setting the pizza down, I noticed something else. An old Domino's box sitting near the corner of the porch, wet from rain, slightly collapsed, like it had been sitting there for days. That immediately felt weird to me. Because if someone was home, why leave the old box outside? I remember glancing toward the upstairs window. The curtain moved slightly, just a little, like someone had stepped back from it. The second that happened, the intercom crackled again, and the woman calmly told me I could leave now. I don't know why, but the way she said it made my stomach tighten, like I had stayed there longer than I was supposed to. So I took the money, walked back to my bike, and left. The entire ride back to Portland, I couldn't stop thinking about that house. And honestly, if the order had never appeared again, I probably would have forgotten about it eventually. The second Saturday night, I got the same order again, same address, same customer name, same road outside the city. The moment I saw it appear on the delivery screen, I felt this weird heaviness in my stomach, like my body already knew it didn't want to go back there. But the payout was good, better than most deliveries. So I accepted it. The drive felt longer this time. The rain had stopped, but fog covered most of the road. The deeper I rode into the woods, the quieter everything became. When I finally reached the house, nothing had changed. Same dead trees, same rusted mailbox, same yellow light upstairs. But this time, before I even got off my bike, I noticed the old pizza box from last week was gone. The porch was completely empty, like someone had cleaned it immediately after I left. I walked to the front door carrying the food, and halfway there, I noticed something new. Scratches, long, deep scratch marks near the bottom of the door. Not outside, inside, like something had been dragging against the wood from within the house. I remember standing there staring at them longer than I should have, trying to convince myself it was probably a dog, or damaged wood, or anything normal. Then the intercom crackled again. The same woman's voice calmly told me to leave the food farther from the door tonight. Farther from the door. That immediately made me uncomfortable, because it meant she was watching me closely enough to know exactly where I had placed it last time. I set the pizza down near the porch steps, and while I was backing away, I heard something inside the house. A sound upstairs, very faint. Like a chair dragging slowly across the floor, then silence, complete silence. I got back on my bike and left faster than usual that night. But after that delivery, I couldn't stop thinking about the house anymore. Every Saturday after that, the same order kept appearing. Same woman, same house, same oversized cash tip folded neatly beside the door. But every week, something small felt different. One night, the delivery instructions said not to knock. Another week, it said, please arrive alone. And one Saturday, before I even reached the porch, the intercom activated by itself. The woman's voice came through the static and quietly said, "You're late tonight, Miles." I stopped walking immediately. I never told her my name. I remember just standing there frozen in the dark holding the pizza bag, trying to think if maybe my name was visible somewhere on the delivery app, or maybe on my jacket, or maybe one of my coworkers mentioned me before. But deep down, I already knew that wasn't the reason. Then after a few seconds of silence, she calmly added, "You always arrive safely." Something about the way she said that stayed with me the entire night. Not threatening, not aggressive, just wrong. After that, the house started getting into my head. I'd hear faint static noises at home and immediately think about the intercom. I started checking my apartment door twice before sleeping. Sometimes while riding deliveries late at night, I'd catch myself looking for that yellow upstairs light in random windows. I even asked another driver at Domino's if he knew anything about the address. The moment I mentioned the road, his expression changed. He looked at me for a second and quietly said, "You got the Forest House too?" Then he grabbed his stuff and walked away before I could ask anything else. Even my manager acted weird about it. Whenever the order appeared, he avoided looking at the screen for too long. But because the customer tipped so much, nobody ever canceled it. And somehow, despite how uncomfortable the place made me feel, I kept going back. Until one Saturday night, I finally decided I wanted to know who or what was inside that house. The order appeared again around the middle of my shift. Same address, same customer, same instructions. By the time I reached the forest road, fog had already covered most of the area. The deeper I rode into the woods, the less I could see beyond my headlights. When the house finally appeared through the trees, I immediately felt that same heaviness in my chest again. The upstairs yellow light was on. The porch light flickered weakly. Everything else was dark. I grabbed the pizza bag and walked toward the front door, trying to act normal, trying not to think too much. The intercom crackled before I even knocked. The woman calmly told me to leave the food outside. Same voice, same calm tone, like nothing had changed. I placed the food near the front door, picked up the folded cash tip beside it, then walked back toward my bike. But this time, I didn't leave. I parked farther down the road near the trees where the house was barely visible through the fog. Then I waited. The woods were completely silent. No cars, no insects, no wind. Just that house sitting in the darkness with the yellow upstairs light glowing through the window. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. At one point, I actually started feeling stupid, like maybe I had built the whole thing up too much in my head. Then suddenly, the front door slowly opened by itself. Not fast, slowly. Like someone standing behind it was carefully pulling it inward. I leaned forward, trying to see who was there, but there was nobody. No shadow, no figure, nothing. Just darkness inside the doorway. Then I saw the pizza box near the porch move. Very slowly. It slid across the wooden floor toward the open doorway. Like someone invisible was dragging it from inside the house. Every part of my body locked up. I remember staring at it, trying to force my brain to explain what I was seeing. But there was nothing there. No person, no hand, nothing. The pizza disappeared into the darkness inside the house. Then the front door slowly closed again. I don't even remember getting back onto my bike. I just remember speeding away from that road faster than I ever had before. The entire week after that, I couldn't stop thinking about what I saw. I barely slept. Every small sound in my apartment kept waking me up. Sometimes I'd randomly hear static in my ear and immediately think about the intercom. By the next Saturday, I had already decided I wasn't going back. But near the end of my shift, the order appeared again. Same address. I tried refusing it. I actually told my manager I wasn't comfortable going there anymore, but he just looked annoyed and told me nobody else wanted the route. So somehow, against every instinct telling me not to, I went back. The entire drive there, I felt sick, and when I finally reached the house, the porch light was already on waiting for me. I slowly walked toward the front door holding the pizza bag. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I rang the bell. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then static exploded through the intercom and the woman spoke. But this time her voice sounded different. Not angry, not louder, just aware. She quietly said, "You saw me last week." I felt my stomach completely drop. Before I could even move, the front door slowly opened on its own. For the first time since I started delivering there, the inside of the house was visible. A long, dark hallway stretched inward. No lights, no movement, just darkness. I stood there frozen, staring into it. Then through the intercom, the woman whispered, "Come inside and hand me the food." At that exact moment, something moved deep inside the hallway, just slightly, but enough for me to realize something was standing in there, watching me. I dropped the pizza immediately, turned around, and ran. I didn't even think about my bike. I left it there with the engine still running outside the house. I just ran into the woods until I reached the main road. And after that night, I never went back. For several nights afterward, I could barely sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept hearing the woman's voice inside my head. Calm, quiet, almost whispering directly into my ear. Sometimes late at night, I'd suddenly wake up convinced someone had knocked on my apartment door. And for a few terrifying seconds, I would swear I could hear the same voice from the house outside my room saying, "Come inside and hand me the food." But every time I checked, there was never anybody there. At least, that's what I keep telling myself. Thank you for watching Oculus Owl. Sleep if you can, because while you're trying to forget this story, the owl is still watching.